Buongiorno everybody, how you all doing? Hope you're keeping safe out there. Today I thought I'd take a look at the Transformers Generation Selects Earthrise Megatron G2 colours. This figure today is brilliant, just thought I'd say that up front. But yeah, I picked this fellow up courtesy of the fine folks over at Comics and Cocktails. As always, I recommend them, they're a great store. Just look at this figure, I mean Jesus Christ, look at the colours on this thing, it's beautiful. I'll tell you what, I'll just describe where this figure comes from. Okay, we've got to go back in time here, back to that tumultuous decade which was the 90s, where apparently we all went highlighter crazy with colours, but yeah, back then Transformers definitely in a bit of a lull in terms of sales and the brand. So what do? They repainted a lot of old figures in garish colour schemes and re-released them as Transformers Generation 2. Yeah, it was definitely a bold move, and it's sort of like there was a comic book series that went along with the toys release at the time, and that comic book series was very dark, gritty, very 90s. I actually really loved it, to be honest. I picked up the first issue of Transformers Generation 2, which had a great fold-out cover. The cover was Optimus Prime's face that folded out to reveal a battle scene. It was really cool, and in that series, Megatron got an upgrade. No longer was he a Walter PPK Uncle Special. He was a tank. He was a green and purple tank. Oh, the 90s were definitely a interesting period. And of course, as you can imagine, this design was made into a toy. A toy I longed for as a child. I'd only ever seen it once out in the wild in a little curio shop. And there's a little like a bodega type thing round where my grandmother's friends lived. In like the middle of nowhere, they had this beautiful purple and green tank Megatron. I never got it. But of course, Hasbro being Hasbro, they never miss a chance to, have people part with their money. So they took the okay-ish Earthrise Megatron mold. I haven't actually owned it. I just think it looks... I think it's a downgrade from the Siege one. But anyway, they took that and they slapped the colours on it, and they released it at the same time as a G2 repaint of Dirge as Sandstorm, or G2 Sandstorm, which was a different character to the G1 one. G1111, yep. And yeah, this is it, and I can't lie, I kind of love it. It looks really good. Just going to the figure, it is a repaint of that Earthrise one, which is like a 90% the same figure as the Siege one. But as you can see, they've smoothed out a lot of the details to make it more, well, cartoon accurate, I was going to say, but the Earthrise version cartoon accurate. The mould is very cartoon accurate apart from the big tank tread backpack, but those colours just evoke that wonderful 90s feeling and that G2 design, with the purple face, the red eyes, all the orange, the brows, it looks really cool. The only problem I have with it in robot mode is the design is homaging the G2 Megatron design. Didn't have an arm cannon, you had the cannon attached to the shoulder, which you can't really do with this figure, which is a shame. Which is slightly more of a shame because like the Siege version of this mould had a port which you could have put his cannon into and it might have worked, but this one unfortunately doesn't have that option. It isn't too bad, but he still looks really good with the fusion cannon. Though mine one is a little dodgy. The cannon doesn't port into the arm very securely, so it would spin. It's like a spinning top most of the time. You'd be surprised how many times I've had to refilm this because as it's been turning, the cannon's just gone and spun around the wrong way. But, apart from that, it looks really cool. And now a lot of people's complaint with this figure is what it does with the parts forming. Yes, it has parts forming. The vehicle mode main barrel and this little filler part, which turns it from being like turns the mould from being a H tank, like it was in Siege, to being a more realistic tank. Just fills in like the gap at the back. That combines with the barrel and this, well, it looks like a blade. Maybe it's a halberd. It just looks quite naff. I'm never going to have it on the figure. Like, they tell you to put it on the back and have it sort of showing over the top, maybe in a homage to that original shoulder cannon, but no, it just looks... It's okay as a melee weapon, as his only melee weapon, but he doesn't really need it, and I don't really like using it. But I tell you what does look good with this figure, though, is all the little blast effect compatible ports. That's on there, so you can have him with blast effects attached to him as if he's being shot. And that large cannon, blast effect part compatible, and it looks really good with the blast effect part in it. I mean, look at that. Oh, that's really cool. And it's only the effects that he's actually compatible with. If you've got the what was it called? Well, the accessory pack for Siege. The Megatron mace that came in that fits on him just as well. That looks really cool. Yeah, that's really nice. Okay, so comparing this guy to a couple of figures in the well, a couple of figures I've got in my collection. Up first, Small Deluxe. Here he's next to Earthrise Cliff Jumper. He looks okay. I mean, Cliff Jumper's never going to miss him with his cannon now, is he, with this colour scheme? But he looks alright. Next to something slightly bigger, a more reasonable sized Lux figure, the Studio Series 86 Jazz. Looks really good together. Yeah, again, scaling seems to work out. Here he's next to a slightly larger figure, the Leader Class, yeah, again, Studio Series 86 Grimlock. They look really cool together. Yeah, that's kind of something I like, that when you're comparable in size to Grimlock at Voyager scale, you know you're a big figure. They look really good together. And of course, you got to have him compared to Earthrise Optimus Prime. Again, they look really cool. I don't think we're going to get a G2 Optimus Prime. We might actually get a G2 Optimus Prime, saying that. I mean, they like to reuse this mould. We might get one where I think the only difference might be a few changes in colours and changing the Autobot symbol to the G2 version, but yeah, okay, we'll probably get that. Knowing Hasbro, we'll get that done. But yeah, the figure still looks really cool. Transformation, mainly like the Siege version, which I've already covered. Yeah, I already covered that figure. I'd actually forgotten about that. You get a few changes, like the front part being filled out by an extra flap, the parts forming to make the back of it fill in a bit, and obviously the different barrel at the front. And it looks okay, to be fair. It looks like a tank. It looks mainly like that original tank. It's okay. Actually, I like it. It's just that a problem I have is the tank mode barrel isn't as secure when it comes to blast effects, and they tend to fall out, which is a bit of a pain. Because, like, you really want a big blast effect on there. I can get one to fit on there just a bit, like, not securely enough, really, to trust on the display, but it still looks good. There's more orange come through. You can see that nice G2 Decepticon symbol there on the side. Oh, yeah, it does look good. Oh, this is quite nostalgic for my childhood here, the 90s. I do. Okay, yeah, I gotta be honest here. Okay, I like this figure. Do you need it in your collection? No. Unless you're, like me, remember the 90s fondly, and you pined for that original toy, but if you've already got the Earthrise or even the Siege Megatron, you don't really need to get him. But then again, we don't really need to get any of these, do we? But the need is there, isn't it? The desire. And yeah, if you're gonna get a figure that's just for fun, that actually encapsulates the fun, stupid, silly nature of Transformers collecting, you can't go far wrong with this figure, I tell you. He's good. He's a good one. Okay, anyway, folks, that's it. As always, I hope you all enjoyed the review, and until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and keep on rolling. See you next time. Ta-da!